Welcome back to the channel, guys. This is VIN0367, and this is a 2016 1H9, which is Nebula Gray Pearl, 1 year only color, with LA20 black interior for sale at a Cadillac dealer in Colorado with 73,000 miles for originally, when I first took a screenshot of it, $48,500, and they raised the price to $50,500, so the price went up $2,000 here at the beginning of February of 2026. Production statistics. So as I said, Nebula Gray Pearl is a 1 year only color, 2016 only. There's 157 of them that exist for the US 49. Of those 157, there were 90 that had LA20 black interior. So 157 out of the 2,347 cars, or 157 out of the 1,417 cars for 2016. That's 3.83% of all of the US 49 production. Call it like an 8 out of 10 for rarity. The anniversary cars, the Matador Red Mica, the Flare Yellow, the Molten Pearl, those are about the only other colors rarer than this, only because it's a 1 year only color. Carfax, Epic VIN, and AutoCheck. Carfax shows this as a 5-owner, no accident car, which I believe is correct. Epic VIN shows this as a 4-owner, no accident car, which I don't put a lot of weight behind Epic VIN. I usually use that for the sales data and the photos. AutoCheck shows this as a 5-owner, no accident car. So I think it's safe to assume this car is probably a 5-owner, no accident car. So we'll go ahead and jump into the rest. Previous sales. This car first went on sale in December of 2015, $87,000 in Tennessee, and it sold in 1 day. Not very common to see on these cars, especially on the 2016s. Then it was for sale about 6 months later in May of 2016, $79,000 in Tennessee with 3,000 miles at a Buick/GMC dealer, and it sold in about a month to an owner in Alabama. September of 2017, $58,000 in Georgia with 10,000 miles at a Toyota dealer, and it sold in November, so about 2 months to a buyer in Florida. Next up, it was for sale in May of 2018, $59,000, so $1,000 more, with 17,000 miles, 7,000 more miles at Lexus of Tampa Bay, and it sold in July of 2018, 2 months, again to a buyer in Florida. Then it was repossessed in September of 2020, so this has a repo, and then it was sold at auction, and a dealer in an Alfa Romeo dealer in Fort Worth, Texas, bought it and put it up for sale in October of 2020, $56,000 with 31,000 miles. So it looks like at that point it had an aftermarket exhaust, and it sold in November of 2020, about a month to a buyer in Colorado. And now here in February of 2026, $48,500, then $50,500 in Colorado with 73,000 miles at a Cadillac dealer, John L.A. Cadillac. So now into the photos. There's some weird carbon fiber fake wheel cover or something on the steering wheel. I've seen those on eBay. I don't know if it's covering up any damage or what, but that's probably the first thing I would remove, but hopefully, that's not my thing. The carbon fiber looks like it's starting to delaminate on the passenger side dash, just along the edge. That's kind of where they all start, and then it'll eventually creep further down. So it's just at the beginnings of that. It could stay like that for a couple years, but all it takes really is one super cold night and it'll delaminate the rest of the way. It looks like possibly on the passenger door. It's hard to tell with the photos. They're not super high quality, but obviously inspect the carbon fiber pieces, especially all the front 5, the center console, the front and left, the left front and right front dash, and the left front and right front doors. But based on mileage and based on what I'm seeing in the photos, it looks like it probably is going to need front brakes. I see a little bit of a lip on the front rotors, probably needs rear too. These cars always need tires and brakes, and dealers don't replace them very commonly, so assume it needs tires and brakes. But otherwise it looks pretty good. All of the touch points, the wear points, everything, I don't see any issues. Looks really clean on the front, and I believe it does have paint protection film on the front of it, at least part of it. And so I don't see any red flags there as far as the photos go, but obviously do your due diligence and look when you go and buy this car. Look at the carbon fiber pieces, the touch points, the usual things, but look at the tires as well. So for the price, it's spot on for where I would expect it to be. And it's like $47,000, $48,000 with this mileage. You could go maybe down to 45. Still trying to get a better understanding of where these cars are going to stay at for the 2026 year. Doing this last year, this car would be like $48,000 to $52,000. 45 to 48 kind of is where it's looking like it's going to be. These cars are very mileage sensitive, under about 75 or 80,000 miles, which that's where this car is. So, you know, instead of this being a low 40s car, it's a high 40s car because it has under that 75,000 or so miles. If this had 100,000, this is like a $35,000 to $40,000 car. So it's all the difference of a 20,000 miles makes for these cars right now. But I would say overall, the price is very fair for all things considered where the market is on these cars with this mileage. Service history. So this car's a pretty well dealer serviced car on top of that. And it does have some third-party maintenance as well, but I'll get into that here in a minute. The first entry of note is December of 2017, where they noted it hit a curb. And so they got an alignment, but nothing about a wheel repair or any suspension damage, anything like that. February of 2018, the right front wheel bearing was replaced, probably related to hitting the curb. April of 2018, the JLB recall was done. That's the high pressure fuel pumps. Good to see that's done. Most of these cars have it done. January of 2021, humming noise noted from the rear, and like a whining noise or a squeak in the rear suspension. Nothing was done. If you've watched these videos long enough, you know what that humming noise is. It is the low pressure fuel pump that needs to be reprogrammed. It's behind the driver's seat, driver passenger seat. The ECM needs to be reprogrammed in order to make that humming or buzzing go away. That was not done here. Maybe the dealer didn't know about that customer service program. A month later, February of 2021, a chirping noise from the engine, and the tech blamed it on the aftermarket exhaust. Again, if you've watched these videos long enough, you know that the chirping noise is the high pressure fuel pumps coming from the engine bay. They're mechanical pumps, they chirp, they make noise. There's really no fix for them. That's just the nature of what they sound like. March of 2021, the rear brakes were replaced. April of 2021, install winter tires. So this car being in Colorado, I've lived in Colorado before. I know that they use magnesium chloride, not salt, for the roads. It's not as harsh, but it still can eventually rust vehicles. So that would be something I would look at on this car, is just look at the underside and make sure it's not too terribly rusty. At that same service, they also noted again with the chirping noise. And again, they stated that the aftermarket exhaust at the right rear was causing the issue, or possible cause. Again, in April of 2021, they noted that they ran over a tire, so check for damage, and they replaced the passenger side speaker, didn't say which one, it's $700 plus labor. And they also were noting about the ongoing issue with the engine noise on startup. So again, this chirping, it's bothering this particular person, but that is, again, the nature of these pumps. So don't look too far into that. May of 2021, they reported this as making a woo-woo noise, like the whistles go. At this service, the dealer recommended replacing the low pressure fuel pump. I guess they didn't look to see that there's a customer service program to reprogram it, but it didn't get done here. May of 2021, again, they finally reprogrammed the low pressure fuel pump, and as a one-time goodwill, which is kind of a bunch of, anyway. So this car finally has the low pressure fuel pump reprogrammed, so you won't see that anymore. A month later, in June of 2021, passenger mirror was leaking, letting moisture or water get in the car, and the carbon fiber trim was noted as bubbling, and the front speaker was rattling. So I guess they just replaced one of them. Maybe someone's cranking the volume all the way up. Don't know, but something of note there. November of 2021, clear mask, paint protection film installed, and then again in January of 2022, maybe they installed it again or touched it up, something like that. But this car probably didn't have PPF installed since new, or if they did, they replaced it here. Not sure, but it sounds like it's got at least paint protection film on it since 2021. June of 2022, 55,000 miles, front brake pads, and resurfaced the front rotors. October of 2022 at 58,000 miles, states that the coolant level was dropping. The coolant was leaking out of the overflow cap, so I don't know if somebody overfilled it or what was going on there. And again, a complaint about the chirping noise on this car. You know, this is a complaint that you're gonna see a lot. And even mine, the previous owner, was replaced. The JLB recall, it was replaced, and then it was replaced twice more. So this car is now on its fourth set of high pressure fuel pumps, all replaced under warranty or recall. and it still does it. That's just what they do. July of 2023, 60,000 miles, the 60,000 mile service. Spark plugs and brake fluid both replaced there, so it's the true 60,000 mile service. And they noted that they spilled Red Bull on the mouse and it's sticky to replace or clean it out. And so that's what they did, along with replacing the driver's side high pressure fuel pump out of warranty, but under extended warranty, showing $2,675.01. So that is, the fuel pumps are like $1,500 a side if you have to replace them. And so it looks like that's what they did. April of 2024, 64,000 miles, the chirping returns. And the tech noted they did not hear the chirping. So it sounds like somebody's trying to get this other fuel pump replaced too. But October of 2025 at 71,000 miles, so just not too long ago, the valley plate was noted as leaking and was resealed, repaired at a cost of $3,014.52 paid by the extended warranty company and an additional $772 paid by the owner. So that's about $3,800 for a valley plate reseal. That's the highest I've seen. So my dealer here in Dallas-Fort Worth quoted me about $2,400 on my blue GSF. And I have another person that had messaged me and they got a quote for about $3,200. This is $3,800 at a Lexus dealer to get that resealed. It is a lot of labor. It's a couple $100 worth of parts. So what's not done? Probably again, the brakes, maybe the tires, but the valley plate's done, 60,000 mile service is done. Paint protection film, if it was replaced in 2021, it's like 5 years old. So, 7 to 10 years is kind of the max you want to go on that before you replace it. So that's probably still good. What else is not done? The HVAC servo sweep. So if you're gonna go drive this car, make sure it's fully up to temperature. Set one side to max hot, one side to max cold, and cycle through the defrost, the head, the feet, the rear. Switch sides, make sure everything responds. There is an update for the programming for that. If it still does it, then it's gonna need some of the servos replaced. Front lower control arm bushings, don't see anything about that on there. So check the insides of the front tires. Make sure you don't see any excessive wear. If you do, front lower control arm bushings, an alignment, and 2 tires are what will be needed there. The ZLZ, so this car is out of the range. This is older than 10 years now. The in-service date was December 30th, 2015. So the dash coverage expired December 30th, 2025. So you can still replace it, but you got to do it yourself or pay the dealer to do it. The part's like $60, $70, but it's like 6 to 8 hours worth of labor to fully pull the dash, swap everything over, put it back in. The ZLZ is the sticky, delaminating, deforming dash. And a lot of these cars that are in the warmer climates are usually affected by it. This car spent its last 5 years in Colorado, so I don't expect that this car would have a sticky dash, but it still has the old part. I don't see anything about the transmission being serviced or the TVD, the torque vectoring differential, being serviced. So if you're gonna buy this car, I would do both of those right away. I guess the other question that I would have is how winter driven was this car? Now, we know that it had winter tires on it. They said that once in the service, but Colorado uses mag chloride, so it's not as aggressive or as harsh as like the salt belt states, Nebraska, Iowa, Ohio, New England, places like that. So that would be something to look at. But that brings me to, would I buy this car? I think I would if I could get it just a little bit cheaper, but it's pretty well sorted. And so, 60,000 mile service is done, the valley plate's done, may need brakes and tires. It looks pretty clean overall. It's accident free. It does have 5 owners, but it looks like it's got good potential to just get in and go enjoy it, go drive it. The carbon fiber trim piece, you can address that later down the line, but it looks like it's pretty well ready to go. And so the asking price of $48,500, now $50,500, in my opinion, is just slightly too high, not too far off though. And so I think if you could get it for less, this would be a great deal. So anyway, that's what I've got for this one, guys. VIN 0367. Thanks again for watching, and we'll see you soon.